Hello everyone, this is my video response to Barry Dunn and David Nesbitt. They're having a video conversation about the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, and also fears and how to deal with them. I agree that 2016 had a lot of problems, a lot of things that went wrong. I just want to say that there are a few things that I'm very grateful for. One of them is my family and my new baby that I have this year, and that makes everything completely worth it. As much as I hate a lot of things that happen, but yeah, I'm really grateful for that, and I wouldn't trade anything else, for it. So, but going into fears, then, how do you deal with fears? One of them is to confront them, which is in a way kind of what I'm doing now by doing this video. Is I sat there trying to think what to say and what am I going to say. I mean, a lot of my fears stem off of, I think, of rejection, maybe, fear of people not accepting you or things like that, saying things wrong, all that kind of stuff. I have all those kind of fears. So when I put a video like this out there, it's it causes me to be a little anxious, and confronting them are the best things that you can do, I think, to get over them and to beat them. Other ways that you can get over your fears is, I think, when Barry was talking about writing a book and how to write a book and write something that's so close to him, especially something that he thinks people might, I don't know if it was like get opinionated about him because he's writing about himself and his thought process, how they would view him, things like that. I understand where that's coming from, but I think the people that are going to read the book, especially from the beginning, are people who already have their opinions of you, Barry, and I'm pretty sure they like you. It's okay. So I don't think you have much to fear about that, and I don't think they're going to change their opinion after reading the book either. And like David said, anyone who reads the book that you don't know and might have negative opinions to it, they may not be people you want to have like you anyway. So I think that it's the fears. Everyone has fears, and I think it's completely normal to have them, and you're always going to have fears. Finding the way past them, I think, is important, and especially, I think fears, especially for creative people, are more when you be creative, you're putting yourself out there, and you're basically creating something that you're sharing yourself with the world, and it's going to be very intimidating first when you try or when you start, because people start to know you, people start to understand you, even if you've never met them. I mean, just by looking at something you created, they start to know the deeper you, and you're opening yourself up and showing it to the world, and that can be a very scary process, and that can be almost paralyzing sometimes, especially if you're not used to it, or if you're not sure if you want to show that side of yourself to people. It can be paralyzing, but the more you do it, I think the more you I think you understand it, and the more it benefits both you as a person, and you grow as a person, and you become to accept who you are, and you are good with it. I mean, if when you can accept who you are, then I think it doesn't matter anymore what people think about you, or if they, if you accept who you are and what you put in the book, and you share it with everyone. I don't think that if someone says something bad, or whatever it is that you have that fear of, it won't matter to you as much anymore, because you've already accepted everything yourself, and they can't change your opinion of yourself. And as long as you're happy with it, I mean, what does their opinion matter? The book itself, or some of the art, things people create, is more for sometimes trying to convince other people to accept themselves, or to see themselves in their own light, and to take a look at themselves in the world, and better themselves, and that is needed. So if you share yourself and put yourself out there, and one person doesn't like it or whatever, that doesn't matter. But if one person does and they look at themselves and understand you or understand themselves better, then I think the whole book was completely worth it. And getting over your fear to write that, I mean, it would be so good for you, as you know, because I mean, how awesome would that make you feel if someone came to you and said, your book just changed my life? Or I'm not, I don't know what you're writing, so I'm not sure if that's the kind of book you're writing or not. But in a creative process, I think that sometimes is very important to understand. Is first you're kind of looking at yourself and delving into yourself and the world, and in that process of doing that, the people who see it also kind of have that discovery and journey with you, and that is sometimes incredible. The other way I think you can get over your fear is, in some ways I can say maybe causing a second fear to be worse than what your fear is, and by that I mean create a deadline. Deadlines are sometimes very scary too, and it's not just creating a deadline for yourself for something creative. You can create a deadline and work towards it, but if you don't have a consequence, if you don't complete the deadline, then that's not a true deadline. If you have a client, you're working for a client, if you don't get the deadline, you don't get paid, or you lose the client, all these kind of things like that, personal deadlines. So sometimes look to your friends too to help create something or some kind of deadline or consequence for you. If these are what I want to do, these are the steps. If I don't have 10 pages written by the end of the week, then this happens. So set some goals for yourself. I mean, some of the best work I think that I've done is work that I had to get completed. I just had to finish it on time for it to be either submitted to a festival or submitted to something, or just to have it done. And it wasn't that it was the best thing I ever written or best thing I ever filmed. It was usually never any of that. It was just the fact that I completed it. If you complete the project, then you have a good project. I mean, you're always, like David said, you're always going to grow, and you're always everything you work on is going to build you up. So just keep working and making stuff, and it's the constant, it's the not completing things. I think that's kind of the failure. So if you can complete something, it's people will enjoy it, and you will enjoy it, and you're growing, and that's all you can do. And you can't, your first works aren't going to be the best work, and you just have to keep working. Some of the best work I've done in glass blowing, I always tell people it's always the best piece or the perfect piece that hits the floor. So glass blowing taught me so much, because I always lose the best one. And the art I put out there, or the things I make, they may be good or people may like them, but it's that one that got away, that hit the floor, that no one will ever see. And the ones that are completed, people love. But now I'm losing my train of thought here. Give me a second here. So you have to complete. That's just the way it is in the creative world. I mean, you're not being creative, and you're not moving forward if you're not finishing the projects. And you'll keep growing and building and getting better and better with them as you go. So I think I'm getting close to work here, so I actually have to go. But if I had a question, I guess, for everyone else, because I think that these are supposed to end on a question, I guess since we're dealing with fear, and we talked about fear, why don't we just jump into failure? How do you deal with failure? And how do you dig yourself out of it if you are, which I think still kind of stems off the fear in a way. But I'm going to end it there, and we will hopefully see you on the next one. Bye.